All right. Hi, everyone. I am Sean Woodward, the superintendent of the Monroe School District. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to watch this recorded overview of our 2026 bond and our education levy renewal. The goal here is just to give you a clear, straightforward walkthrough of what's included in the bond and levy, why we're bringing these measures forward, and how they support our students, our families, our staff, and our community. So with that, let's get started. All of this work is grounded in our strategic plan. Many of you know that a couple of years ago, we embarked on this process to chart a course for the future. And over the past couple of years, we've done a lot of listening, held all kinds of focus groups, conducted surveys, analyzed the data from our survey, and just continued to make sure that we had enough feedback that could lead to the adoption of a 5-year plan that people could really get behind. One of the major goals in that plan focuses on responsible use of resources and ensuring our school facilities are safe, modern, and well-maintained. Everything in our bond aligns directly with those community-driven priorities, as well as everything in our renewal educational levy. We have 5 big goal areas in the strategic plan, and this particular presentation is really about goal area number 5, at least for the bond portion of the presentation. As part of this goal area, we took a deeper look at the condition of our buildings. We created a facility advisory committee, which is made up of parents, community members, and staff. This group met last year and they took a look at the condition of all of our buildings, reviewed the data, identified priority needs around safety, maintenance, and modernization. They shared their recommendations with our school board, and then our school board had work sessions, a series of discussions, and then finally they approved a resolution to place this bond in the February 2026 ballot. The bond includes many different aspects. There's about 8 big picture areas, and those areas include safety and security improvements, major maintenance projects across the district, replacement of the Sky Valley Education Center, modernizing portions of Frank Wagner and Salem Woods Elementary, and then updates to special education and early learning spaces as well, and then some improvement of some of our athletic fields in the community. I'm going to walk through each of these sections individually. A major component of the bond is improving safety at our schools, and that includes building out secure entrance vestibules at Chain Lake Elementary, Frylands Elementary, and at Monroe High School. It also includes upgrades to fire and security systems, our integrated key systems, CO2 sensors, improved outdoor lighting, critical ADA updates, as well as sprinkler and plumbing work. These investments will ensure that every building remains safe and secure for our students, staff, and family members, and our community at large. We also have a whole slew of major maintenance projects that need to be completed, and that's across all of our buildings. These are things like roof replacements, addressing failing heating and plumbing systems, windows and flooring that have reached the end of their lifespan, exterior repairs, as well as renovations to tennis courts, as you will see on this next slide, updated building control systems, and then, of course, other essential repairs. It's really important to point out that the state does not fund major facility projects like these. Many people understandably believe districts should simply save up money to handle these kinds of projects, but that is not how Washington's school funding system works. Routine maintenance comes out of our general operating budget, but these large, expensive projects require locally approved bonds because the state doesn't provide dedicated funding to address them. So that bond support, these needs continue to grow and will become more costly over time. Before I explain the Sky Valley Education Center replacement, I want to briefly describe what Sky Valley Education Center is. Sky Valley is one of our district's alternative learning experience programs. It's our largest program, otherwise known as ALE programs. ALE programs in the state of Washington allow students to learn through more personalized pathways, sometimes outside the traditional classroom structure, while still receiving public school support and accountability as well. Sky Valley is an amazing program that serves about 1,000 students at that school currently in a very personalized learning kind of environment. Students really have the opportunity to learn at their own pace, and the program also includes a homeschool parent partnership model where families take an active role while working with district staff and resources. Because of this unique structure, the facilities need to support flexible learning spaces, of course, safe environments, and the wide range of programs offered there. Most of the buildings on the Sky Valley campus were designed and built in the 1960s. In the past 2 years alone, we've spent over $1 million on testing and mitigation to make sure that the school is safe for our staff and our families and our students as related to the PCB issues that are well known in that school. The bond proposes modernizing and expanding the Wagner Center to serve as the new home for Sky Valley, giving students and staff a safer and more functional facility. This is the Wagner Center that you've, I'm sure, driven by on Main Street. That also houses the Wagner Performing Arts Center. So that the classroom side of that building, the school side of that building, would be fully modernized. And then we would also expand off the back end to house the new Sky Valley Education Center. So a portion of the building will be modernized, and we'll add brand new square footage as well. So this just illustrates what that would look like off of Main. Again, maintaining that old historic facade and then building new off the back. We'll also be continuing some projects that started with the 2015 bond. Some work will be done at Frank Wagner Elementary School. Again, this will be a phase 2 modernization project focused on updating the original 2-story classroom wing that was built in 1989 and adding a new gym. This would improve instructional spaces and will help meet the physical ed needs of our students as well. Here's Salem Woods Elementary. You're looking at the Salem Woods Elementary gym. We would be modernizing the existing gym and the cafeteria building, would be adding some classroom space to accommodate growth out there at Salem Woods, and replace the playground to meet ADA accessibility standards. These upgrades support both learning as well as school community use. Across several sites, the bond includes improvements to support our special education programs. That includes ADA accessible play areas, in-classroom restrooms for certain programs, kitchenettes, additional storage, and changing tables where those things are needed. The district has really expanded on early learning program options in the last couple of years. At all 5 of our elementary schools, this bond would help with improvements to support preschool, transition to kindergarten, and kindergarten programs. Updates would include age-appropriate restrooms, adjustments to existing restrooms for early learners, playground improvements for equitable access, and added storage for early learning materials. This bond would also help with field restoration. These next 2 slides highlight athletic fields that need some help, including Memorial Field, Marshall Field, the old Park Place ball field, and the field behind Frank Wagner. These fields serve our community, sports programs, and different community groups have access to these fields, and as well as our schools. And many have not received major updates in decades. But this slide here, you can see is an aerial view of this great space that we have here in the downtown area. If this bond is approved, the bond will not exceed the voter-approved maximum of about $152 million. Current estimates place the tax impact at about 62 cents per $1,000 of assessed property value. And there's also a tax calculator on our website, or you can check out the QR code on this presentation where you can look up your specific property impacts to your taxes. This is where our money comes from. So the bulk of our funding comes from the state. And then next comes local funding, which is our levy, and then federal government funding as well, along with grants and other sources. Bonds and levies that simply help fill the gap for facility needs and student programs that the state does not fully fund. This is just a reminder, the difference between bonds and levies. Levies are for learning, bonds are for building. Bonds cannot be used for programs or day-to-day operations. Levies help cover essential services that the state underfunds. Bonds require a greater threshold than levies do to get approval. Bonds require 60% approval. Levies require 50% plus one. The levy is a renewal levy. Every 4 years, we run a levy. The last one is 2022. This will be for 2026. So again, the levy measure is a renewal, not a new tax. It continues the support our schools rely on every day to provide programs and services for our students. Here you can see what the EP&O levy pays for. The levy takes care of all of our athletics and extracurricular activities. It funds extra teachers to keep our class sizes at a reasonable level, supports our school safety, pays for our school safety and security staff, supports student transportation, our nursing program, our counseling program. We have additional paraeducators as well because of the levy, our professional learning for staff, and then of course operations and building maintenance costs is included as well. And these are things that the state does not fully fund. This shows the projected levy amounts, the tax rates for the next 4 years. These projections are based on local property value assumptions and allow us to, again, maintain current programs and services. There's a lot of numbers on this slide. It just shows historical and projected school tax rates. That includes all of it. So as you can see, even with this bond and levy, Monroe continues to maintain a relatively low overall rate compared with previous years. A lot of people wonder, well, how do our tax rates really compare to other school districts in the area? So when we compare to neighboring districts, Monroe's total school tax rate remains one of the lowest in the region. And we do benefit from a very broad tax base along with very high assessed valuations. I think this also reflects our longstanding commitment to responsible financial management in the district as well. Ballots will be mailed on January 23rd. As a reminder, this is an all-mail election. Ballots can either be returned through the mail or placed in the secure drop box at the Monroe Library, and they must be postmarked by February 10th. So you can really help us out by reaching out, asking questions about the bond and or levy so that you can become an informed voter. Share accurate information with friends and neighbors. If you come across misinformation, help correct that, and just please remember to vote by February 10th. Your voice truly matters in supporting safe, modern learning environments for Monroe students. So thank you so much. Also, if you ever would like to meet with me, either one-on-one, small group, large group, to talk about the bond and levy, I'd be very happy to meet with you as well. So thanks again for taking the time to watch this overview and for your partnership with our schools.